Hi, welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel, and today I am continuing my series on Cairn Second Edition, the Cairn Warden's Guide, Second Edition, by Yochai Gal, with all kinds of lovely people helping out, doing all kinds of amazing things here. In this section of the series, we are into the Dungeon Seeds part of the book, which is so the dungeon creation is kind of broken up into two parts. It starts with Dungeon Seeds, where it talks about the kind of the heart of it, the themes involved, and some of the interesting bits and bobs. And then it goes into actually building a dungeon from a like map and kind of more visual perspective. So we're gonna do Dungeon Seeds this session, and then next session we'll do make the actual dungeon. And we're going to do that for one of these dungeons to start with, and we may do the rest if they're easy and lots of fun. So I have a feeling they might be both. But first, let's do a little reading. Let's read some of the prose laid down by the inimitable Yochai. Dungeon principles. Purpose. Consider what the dungeon's original purpose was, as well as what it is being used for today. Demonstrate a dungeon's history by including signs of its original inhabitants and their goals. Sometimes a dungeon will have multiple purposes, and these can collide against each other to create tension among its denizens. Levels. Though they should make sense as part of the dungeon's construction and purpose, levels should also represent increasing danger. On each level, try to push players to weigh the risk of future exploration versus a potential reward. Layout. Create multiple entrances and exits. Offer multiple routes. Design choke points, and provide hiding spots. Add meaningful and obvious information to room entrances and exits. Verticality. Incorporate tall rooms, climbable structures, and paths that allow movement around and over obstacles. Secret areas. Include hidden zones, including at least one that will likely remain undiscovered, but is still worth finding. Try to avoid hiding crucial information behind secret rooms. Rooms. Vary room shapes, sizes, and functions. Use architectural motifs to connect rooms and provide hints of what's to come. Room descriptions should be easy to map and recall. Treasure. Incorporate a variety of treasure beyond mere gold, such as knowledge, allies, trade goods, and artifacts. Add narrative elements to treasure to increase its non-monetary value. Challenges. Allow the characters to drive the story by writing challenges without prescribed outcomes. Create a sense of peril, but avoid making obstacles seem unbeatable. Overly dangerous areas and creatures should be obvious. Create encounters that can be avoided with critical thinking and problem solving, not just violence. Remember that monsters and other obstacles are another way to tell the dungeon's story. NPCs. Include engaging NPCs with their own goals and agendas. These characters may want to stay in the dungeon. They may even love it. NPCs and monsters should communicate with the PCs even during combat. Have them make threats, suggest compromises, or try to persuade the PCs whenever possible. Every character wants something, and has a limit to what they might do to get it. Factions. Factions should interact with both the characters and one another, acting on their own regardless of the character's actions. Give them hierarchies and divisions that can be exploited. Puzzles. Create puzzles that have clear, actionable goals. Puzzles should reinforce the themes of the dungeon and build on its history. Make the challenge of the puzzle obvious, but the solution less so. Allow for multiple solutions, and for players to solve them using intelligence and critical thinking, not just special abilities or tools. Create built-in clues suggesting the puzzle's origin and its effects. Dungeon map. Put boring or repetitive stuff, exits, room shapes, etc. on the map, rather than in the room description. Obvious exits should be described using clear, distinct language. Number your rooms to help avoid confusion when referencing the map. Room keying. Emphasize a room's most important aspects, typically obvious threats or NPCs. Describe elements that help orient the party to their surroundings. Be specific, but avoid describing how the characters should feel. Only describe what happens now. If there is a history here, the characters will discover it in play. Name each room. Encounter tables. Create random events to help make a dungeon feel alive by making exploration tense and unpredictable, as parties may encounter wandering monsters, factions, NPCs, or signs of an approaching threat. Try to provide challenges, moments of respite, or opportunities for roleplay. Creating a dungeon. Materials required. A sheet of paper and a notebook. Of course, we're going to use my little digital setup for drawing here. So, sheet of paper and a notebook. Letter A4 is fine. Pencils and erasers. We have digital tools for that. At least 1d6 and 1d20, but 6d6 and 2d20 would be ideal. Going forward, we will refer to the sheet of paper as the dungeon map. As with any other rule, if you don't like the table result, roll again or tweak as desired. Follow this procedure for any dungeon POIs in your setting. Refer to the dungeon's type table results from earlier, reading the results from the map. That image, or what image, springs immediately to mind? Where is the dungeon located? What does its entrance look like? Don't worry if you can't answer these questions yet. By the end of this process, you should be able to. Okay, so we're going to do our dungeon is a ruined city. And this is actually the buried ruined city. So we want to describe the dungeon's original purpose, its construction, and finally its ruination. We're going to describe the dungeon's NPCs, factions, including their unique traits and agendas. We're going to finalize the dungeon theme. Then we'll create the map and we'll stock the dungeon's rooms. So we're going to do these first 3 steps in this video, and then we'll do the other 2 steps in our next video. So let's start with our history. History. Who built the dungeon? What was it originally used for? Perhaps it was once a great forge, capable of building the world's most powerful weapons, or maybe it was once a burial site for ancient kings, binding their souls to the lands they once ruled. Roll in the tables below, noting the results in your notebook, keeping the following questions in your mind. What kind of dungeon is this, and what makes it unusual? And why was this dungeon built? How was it built, and what caused its downfall? So we need an original use and built by. And we'll roll a d20 for both. Boom. 16 and 10. So we're going 16, we're going 10. So 16 is, it was an observatory. And 10 was built by a warrior tribe. It's interesting. The entrance and the composition give us a 15 and a 3. So this is Skyward Beam of Light. That's pretty cool for an observatory. And 3, it is a crystal composition. That makes some sense. Like a crystal palace kind of thing. It's pretty dope. And then we're talking about its ruination. So condition and cause. We'll roll these again. 18 and 4. 18 and 4. So 18 is, it is submerged, which I guess that kind of makes sense. It says it's buried, but I guess it could be sunken. That wouldn't be impossible. And then 4, it was submerged in a civil war. Wow. Okay. Now let's talk denizens. Most dungeons will have creatures that live there and make it their home. The following table can be used to describe the general attitude of any or all of the intelligent creatures in the dungeon. Roll in the traits table, writing the results in your notebook. This describes the general attitude of the creatures found in the dungeon. Meanwhile, every dungeon should have at least one NPC that stands out from all the others. These types prefer the dungeon life over any other, but still act differently from their brethren. They should be NPCs that the party can interact with, trade with, hire, aid, and so on. These strange creatures can be deeply involved or entirely neutral towards the dungeon's other denizens and factions. Roll on the traits table again, writing the results in your notebook, keeping the following questions in mind. Okay, so, maybe I need these questions from up here. Let's put those here. We'll put both of them, just so we have them if we want them later. And then for denizens, we want to know these questions. So, denizen traits, virtues, vices, and then we get into factions, we get goal and obstacle. Cool. Awesome. Let's go. Four and one. For virtues and vices, we get 4 and 1. 4 is deductive. Oh, whoops. And 1 is absent-minded. Deductive. So they can put together information. I kind of like that. Goals. All dungeons should have one or more factions with their own unique agendas, obstacles, and leaders. Roll for each column and combine. So we're going to just start with one faction here. We get 113. 113. And this will be, yeah, I guess we'll go faction 1. I think we've got some factions from outside that maybe we'll use, but also we probably want some of our own. So one of the factions here wants to ascend, and they're incompetent. Incompetence. Perfect. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to throw another faction in here. We'll go faction 2. We'll roll it again. We get 9, 17. So 9, 17. 9 is they seek justice. And 17, their obstacle is sacrifice. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So, what does this mean? How do we answer these questions given the information we have here, right? What kind of dungeon is this, and what makes it unusual? I think a skyward beam of light from a crystal observatory is for sure pretty weird. The fact that it is submerged is also pretty weird. So let's maybe just write some junk here. We're gonna say ancient peoples of the real warrior empire were obsessed with their prophecy, proclaiming that the gods would be coming from the sky to take them to a new paradise. They built huge observatories across the continent before civil war broke out. and left the mighty structures in ruins. This particular observatory was sunken. You know, actually, I need to look. So where is this even placed, right? This is 2, right? So 2 is like here. Sunken into the soft earth near... do we have a name for this body of water? I guess we don't. That's where the 5D is. Yeah, see, there's a tower over there, too. I feel like the tower would be better. Oh, well, whatever. Sunken into the soft earth near Sky Lake. And I think I like the idea that, like, recently, right, a bright light beams from beneath the waters, beneath the murky waters, into the heavens. Reviving ancient, come on man, ancient stories of returning gods and ascension. All right, I think that takes all that and turns into a little story there. And then our denizens are deductive but absent-minded. So I think, you know, a cult of I guess, yeah, the Cult of Rill, right? We can just call it what it is. The Cult of Rill believes that they inherit and have come to the light like a beacon, hoping it signals the coming of their saviors. They delve the ancient ruin. Attempting to solve its riddles, its puzzles, and activate its purpose. So that's one faction. A jilted leader of the Cult of Rill has taken his faithful and demands justice for his exile, promising that he alone knows the secrets of the Rill, of the Crystal Observatory. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The Crystal Observatory. Okay. So we've got justice, we've got sacrifice, right? He wants justice for being jilted, but he's willing to sacrifice his little nerds to do it. these guys want ascension, but they're actually incompetent. They do not know the secrets. Yeah, I think this works. I think this works just fine. That's a good time. We made a little dungeon thing. If you like these videos, I hope you'll hit the like button. If you want to see more of them, you should subscribe. And if you want to be notified when new videos come out, you can hit the bell icon. Or you can get these a week early if you go over to Patreon at patreon.com/WatcherDM. Sign up and you'll get daily updates from me, as well as access to our Discord and a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, of course, early access to these videos, which, you know, maybe you like that. Also, you'd be supporting us, which I really appreciate, and I want to give a special shout out to my patrons, my pay tier patrons. I thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart. You make this lots of fun to do, and seeing you engage with our content fills my heart with joy. So thank you. All right, that's what I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.